And I screamed, I said, I don't want to hear any other effing words coming out of your mouth, no matter what, other than orderly transition. Repeat those words to me. And I screamed that. Eventually he said, orderly transition. I said, good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it. And then I hung up on him.
It's one of the more memorable moments, the January 6 hearings, when Trump White House lawyer Eric Hirschman shared his first-hand account of the coup plotting he witnessed in the days before the insurrection, and that the day afterwards. His deposition was made even more memorable for the baseball bat hanging on his wall, emblazoned with the word justice. Hirschman had been a staunch Trump defender, representing the president in his first impeachment trial in the Wells Senate. Well, now Hirschman has a new client, according to Axios. Eric Hirschman will be the new attorney for former NFL star Brett Favre in the Mississippi welfare fraud case he is embroiled in. And Favre certainly seems to be in need of a good lawyer, as more and more revelations come out about his involvement in an successful effort, to use Mississippi state welfare funds to build a volleyball center at his alma mater, Southern Miss, where his daughter also attended and played volleyball. Favre and his new lawyer say he did not know welfare dollars would be used in the project, though there are a handful of text messages from him that seem to suggest otherwise. Favre has said he believes he did nothing wrong. The Mississippi Free Press put together this extensive timeline of efforts by Favre to help build not one but two volleyball facilities at schools his daughter attended, and how he went to shocking lengths to divert money, again, meant for the poor and sick, to fund those projects. Ashton Pittman is one of the reporters who put that timeline together, as well as authoring a piece detailing what reporting and court filings revealed about Favre's involvement, and he joins me now. Ashton, I got to say, again, Favre's not facing any criminal charges, though other people involved in this fraud case have already pleaded guilty. But every new detail just seems to show a level of involvement and determination by Favre to get this money that is not like a casual undertaking.
Right. We see, through the texts that have come out, we can see that Brett Favre was looking for a lot of ways to pay for this. And we know that starting in, 2017, which was the year that his daughter was going to graduate high school and start at the University of Southern Mississippi, which is his alma mater, that's when he started really pushing for help funding this volleyball stadium at Southern Miss. And from everything we've seen, he had actually pledged to give the money to fund this stadium himself. So then we suddenly, though, see in these texts to Governor Phil Bryant going back to April 2017, Brett Favre is talking about getting help with fundraising and sponsorships. He's talking about all sorts of ways to pay for it. And at one point, he even mentions the possibility of prison industry labor. So we're looking at this, and it doesn't start out with Brett Favre doesn't come into this saying I want some welfare money to build a volleyball stadium. He's kind of just like from what we see in these texts, he's looking for any kind of help he can get in any way it can come to pay for this stadium that he had apparently pledged to pay to build himself.
Yeah, it's that sequence of facts is important, because the last time we did that story, I don't think that was yet so clear, and it was so strange, right? Like, he's a very wealthy man. He could write a check. I mean, this is the kind of thing that very wealthy people do. It's like, well, my kid is going to a school, I'm going to give you a big check for it. What becomes clear is that basically that's the agreement he'd struck, and we learn that from these texts. This is the president of his alma mater, USM, University of Southern Mississippi, says, and he's texting with the governor, right? And he says, the bottom line is he personally guaranteed the project, and on his word and handshake, we proceeded. It's time for him to pay up. It really is just that simple. And then later on, Rodney Bennett, then president, says, that's my thoughts. Maybe he wants the state to pay off his promises. Like all of us, I like Brett. He is a legend, but he has to understand what a pledge means. I have tried many times to explain that to him. So it seems like he makes this pledge, he makes this promise, then he just doesn't want to pony up the money, and that sends him on this bizarre odyssey to find a way to pay for it. That's someone else's money.
Right. And you can see from the text that Governor Phil Bryant released in a recent court filing, from everything we've seen so far, we haven't seen an indication that Brett Favre definitely knew that the money was temporary assistance for needy families money, which, a family of 3 would have to make less than $600 and have children to get in Mississippi. We haven't seen a text that says he knew exactly what that money was, but we know he knew that it was at least coming from the Department of Human Services, right? So we also, from these texts, we don't know for sure that, what Governor Phil Bryant knew and when he knew it. We do know, we don't see Governor Phil Bryant apparently realizing that state funds are being used for this, at least in the text messages, until July 2019. By that point, he's already informed the auditor that the head of the Department of Human Services might be doing some, committing some illegal activity using state funds. So if you look at the timeline of events, it's just, there's still questions about who knew what when. But it's also clear that, Brett Favre didn't like the idea of people knowing that he was getting money, at least from a nonprofit, for this purpose. Yeah,
he asked whether it can come out. There's also clear indication that Phil Bryant, the governor, at one point says, we're going to get this done, Brett, but we got to do it legally. I'm too old for federal prison. Phil Bryant is aware that there are some laws guiding whether you can take federal welfare dollars for the poorest people in the poorest state in the union to go get your daughter a fancy new volleyball facility, and seems aware there's probably some compliance issues with that. The other thing that's wild here is this appears to be the second time that he used charity money, or money that you would think would go to other purposes, for a volleyball facility for his daughter. Reporting that the nonprofit tax records show that his foundation, Favre for Hope, sent $60,000 to the Booster Club in suburban Oak Grove, which is the high school that his daughter was playing at before she went to USM, where they were playing volleyball. So you could sort of see where the idea might be planted in his head, like maybe we could tap some charity money.
Right, and you've got to also know about Oak Grove High School. Mississippi is a state where a lot of schools are in really bad shape. They don't get great funding. Oak Grove High School is one of the best funded schools in Mississippi. So it's really interesting, seeing, even if there was nothing wrong with the expenditure of that money for the Oak Grove Stadium, it's just, you just see this pattern of, Brett Favre's daughter goes to a school and it gets a volleyball facility. Well, she's at LSU now. She actually moved there, started there in August. So maybe we should look at LSU and see if they're going to get a facility.
I think we should probably have some reporters looking at the volleyball facilities in Baton Rouge. Ashton Pittman, who's been doing good reporting on this. Thank you very much.